Staying with the 3As, we have Armando back here. We're going to talk a little bit about 32 3A. Paul talked about Port Isabel and their history there, but let's talk a little bit about Rio Hondo and La Feria and the rest of that group there. Tell me a little bit about Rio Hondo. What's Gus's secret? Gus Cavazos, the head coach of Rio Hondo. What's been his secret for success there?
I think what Gus does is, people like to work for him. You want to work hard for Gus Cavazos. He's real. He's not a big-time yeller, screamer. He'll pull you aside when he has to. But as far as, the players love playing for him. The coaches love coaching for him. And when you got that kind of environment, you're going to have success. And not to mention the good athletes they have.
Yeah, they have had a good run of stellar athletes.
They had 6 All-Staters last year, which is unheard of.
How many of those are back?
They got 2 back, which is linebacker Adrian Jaime and Josue Vasquez on the offensive line. They're going to have a new quarterback this year, and they're pretty excited about him. Joseph Vela, the kid's sensational. Every time he touches the ball, you don't know what's going to happen. He's got great speed. He sees the field well. They're also going to run a lot of shotgun for him, but he can throw the ball too. He's definitely a double, triple threat to do anything on the field, on that offense. So
he was a pretty good defensive back last year.
Yeah, he had 13 interceptions last year. He had a big one against Cuero on that playoff game. The kid's an athlete, and then the best part for Rio Hondo is he's only a junior, so he'll be back next year. So imagine how good he's going to be next year.
Yeah. Now, last year I was there between Rio Hondo and Port Isabel. Port Isabel won the district title. This year La Feria is under new head coach Adifonso Esquivel, who's been there as a defensive coordinator for a few years now. He takes over as the head coach. He's bringing in a totally new offense. He's going also to the spread like many of the other Valley coaches are going. What does he mean to the team? How is that offense going to help the team succeed, and are they going to compete for the district title?
I think they can compete for the district title, especially in that small district. One loss is pretty crippling. Coach Esquivel he's a good coach, and a lot of people are happy to see him get the job. He is a defensive guy, and they're pretty much set on defense. They got a lot of returners back. The offense, like you said, they're going to go out and keep with the trend and go into that spread offense. More emphasis on throwing. And it's his son Eleazar is the quarterback. He had a good year last year. He had a good showing. The Feria, they almost beat Ingleside. They came within less than a quarter of beating Ingleside up at Kingsville. They're going to be good. It's maybe how quickly they catch this scheme will determine how good they are. But based on what they did in the scrimmage, Coach Esquivel felt pretty good about it, and it would not surprise me one bit to see La Feria at or near the top of 32-3.
You mentioned a little while ago how in a small district like this, there's only I think 5 teams. We've talked about Rio Hondo, La Feria, Paul touched on PI. We're leaving out Hidalgo and Progreso. Is it realistic to think that they can compete for a playoff spot in this district?
Yes and no. Maybe not right away. Hidalgo has been to the playoffs before. Coach George Peña has been pretty successful. Last year they fell on hard times. They weren't too happy about that. This year they have a new quarterback in Oscar Perez, who was a running back last year. The guy can run the ball. Kind of similar, I guess, to what he did at San Benito with Randy Dressa. Is kind of what he's looking out of this Perez kid. So we'll see what happens there. Plus they got the new Smurf turf that everybody's talking about, so that's going to be exciting. Progreso, they're getting better. The odds are stacked against them. They'd be a solid 2A if they had a few less kids. They got good athletes over there. It's hard when you got to play PI, La Feria, and Rio Hondo consistently. But Coach Elvis Hernandez has some good athletes over there, and they could be a spoiler later down the road. They're going to start throwing the ball more too, and we'll see what happens. Finally, we got our sub 3As. We got not too many teams down there, but some good ones though. Who do you think is going to stand out from that bunch?
Well, obviously it's going to be La Villa. The La Villa Cardinals are coming off a great season, a 10-0 season, probably one of their best in school history. They went 3 deep in the playoffs under Coach Joe Salinas. You got beat by Thorndale. It wasn't very pretty, but they said something there. They kind of planted a seed as far as tradition goes. They're under new coach Gene Garza, who comes over from Ed Caciosa. He's coached under Joe Solis and under Robert Vela, two of probably better coaches to come out of the Valley, you know, ever. So he knows. He's also going to a spread offense. He knows what it takes to win, and he's got good kids there in J.D. Cisneros. You know, a good core senior group. J.D. Cisneros is in his 4th year as a starting quarterback. You know, he's got receiver Rocky Rodriguez, who also doubles as a defensive back. You know, in a school like La Villa, everybody's doubling up pretty much. You know, they had the double Ray tandem of Ray Cantu and Ray Perez last year. Who each was about 1,000 yards rushing. You know, they graduated, but they have a guy back in Roseman Romero. He's a bruiser. He's kind of like your Daryl Johnson type. He's going to get you the tough yards, but if he finds a seam, if he breaks away, he's got good speed to where he's going to, you know, he's going to take it to the house as well. You know, La Villa's set right now. You know, everything's set up for La Villa to maybe run the tables again and go another 10-0. You know, and when you talk to them, their goal is in the playoffs. Their goal isn't to go 4 deep, maybe to top last year. Their goal is to go to the state championship game. And when you see the type of talent they have, and being in Class A, which is, I don't want to say it's weaker, but it's not as competitive as maybe 2A. Once you get past the Region 4 area, I think they have a legit chance of making some noise. You know, maybe a state championship, maybe not this year, maybe, who knows. Who am I to question those kids? You know, once they start believing, they can do whatever they put their minds to. But I think that they're going to have a good playoff run. You know, 10-0, win district, good playoff run. I wouldn't doubt it if they're the last team standing, the last Valley team standing come December.